Hey, what's up, Carter? This is a demo video for you for 6 of your sabers. I just have one here. It's hard to hold 6, right? But this is going to be a demo for your Shroud of the Dark Side, your Jedi Killer, your Roman Props MPP. You've got a regional manager that has 2 sides. And then what else did we do? And an Anti-Flex from 7 Chambers. All right, so let's go over my desk. There's a lot to show you. I'll show you how to work everything and box everything up and get it out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for sending all of these over here for me to do for you. All right, Carter, let's go over your lightsabers. We have 6 of them here. Not quite all in frame, but almost, right? We've got this one down here is a regional manager from Watto's Junkyard. I count that as 2 separate installs because it's basically 2 sabers that you put into a staff. We've got your Shroud of the Dark Side here that we're going to talk about, your Phoenix Props Jedi Killer, your 7 Chambers Anti-Flex, and your Roman Props MPP. We're going to start with the MPP, and I'll put all these off to the side. A few of these, we have a few things to go over, the MPP being one of them. All right, so let me try to make some room on my desk here, find out where I'm going to put this guy. Over here next to this Predator helmet I'm working on. All right, so your Roman Props MPP. Okay, when you sent this to me, you didn't have the blade holder. It actually came with this guy. All right, as you can see, I'm not quite sure what this is, a plaster, it's not resin, but it's solid. All right, so typically you would have the blade holder before you would put electronics in this. I went ahead and I designed my own blade holder for now. What I did was I designed it in a way that if you ever decide to get the blade holder that has all of these greeblies in it, you know, because you've got a couple brass inserts here, you've got some steel, rectangle inserts and stuff. If you decide to get the blade holder in the future, you can send this back to me. I put this in here in a way that it's easy to come out and we can hot swap it for the actual blade holder. All right, it is a 1-button setup, so your one switch will be right here. You'll need to take one of these screws and you'll need to get a longer one, and you'll need to screw it right through to the ID of the emitter here, so it can act as your blade retention. On like a replica MPP, that's normally what you would see. Typically you'd see both of these as blade holders. You really only need one though. There was no other place to put one without kind of damaging the accuracy, so I did not do that. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. All right, so one of these, it doesn't matter which one. To get to your chassis, the handle doesn't come off here. I did cut the blade or the bubble card down to normal size. All right, and according to the RPF form that you showed me, the piece that goes right past the bubble is facing the emitter, and then the piece that got cut up right up against the bubbles on the bottom. All right, to get to your chassis, you want to unscrew your pommel here. Your pommel will have a spacer on it. I did make that a press fit. It's not glued in or anything, so just leave that there. It won't go anywhere. I left the black insert here, but I did drill a hole through it for sound. All right, that was the easiest way that I could find to give you sound and not damage the accuracy of the saber, because it was hollow all the way up to the very tip inside of here, so I just drilled it out. All right, so that's what we've got there. When you take your pommel out, you can slide your chassis right out. This is your chassis. So a removable one with Proffie v3. These all have Proffie v3's. Kill switch right here in front of the board. Smuggler's Outpost 28mm speaker. Easy access to your SD card, your micro USB. All of these have the config files on their respective SD cards. All right, we'll take, this is a Keep Power 18650. It just doesn't have the sticker. All right, so spring side for the negative side of our battery there. We'll come over here and flip the switch.
You do have a great many things to explain.
This one in particular is running your K-Sith Rogue Vader. Slide it right in there. The pommel on here is a little unique because it screws to the outside of the handle, so the spacer will go on the inside of the handle while the pommel screws on to the outside. All right. Don't take these threads and force them. Just line it up properly and it will go. Okay, this is pretty thin material, so you don't want to force it. Lock the pommel down tight. Come over here and hit power. You got a KR Sabers lit PCB in there. All right, so it all lit up there. Left the spring mechanism inside the emitter there. On a one button system, blaster deflex is tapping. Blade lockup is a double tap, but holding it on the second tap until you let go of it. And then you can either hold down the button to turn it off, or you can twist it off. All right, so we're gonna take our pommel back off here. Slide our chassis out, flip the kill switch, and take our battery out from the positive side over here by the Smuggler's Outpost switch pixel PCB set. So you've got another 13-pin PCB system in there that doesn't come out. All right? That's part of this upper piece that comes out easily. How that comes out, let me get this pommel on real quick, and then we'll go over that real quick. Tighten this all the way up. If you ever decide to get the blade holder in the future and you send this to me, I'll take this mechanism off right here. I'll take these two screws out, pop this shroud off, which is basically just held on with this guy. I'll take that entire assembly out, and I will retrofit the actual blade holder into the Saber for you. All right, so let's put this off to the side. Let's go over your Jedi Killer. So this is a Jedi Killer from Phoenix Props. This is the V2 version. It's got the wire in it. It's a 2-button setup, so power up here, auxiliary back here. Okay, you still have a KR Sabers lit PCB in there. We can take your blade retention out. Let me get the right Allen key. Okay. We can take your blade plug out right here. So you can see that guy light up here in a second. All right, before you take the handle off, you will want to come over here and you will want to take this wire out of this clip right here. I have these two obviously cut, and they both go inside of there to look as one piece, but you'll want to pop that loose before you unscrew your handle. All right, so we'll take our handle off. We've got our chassis here with our Proffie v3, easy access to your SD card and your micro USB. You've got an LED strip right here, another one right here. This is a tight fitting battery. It was barely enough room to fit an 18650 in here, but it does go. Snap it in there. Come over here and flip your kill switch.
It is your birthright to rule.
When you hit power, those ramp up a little bit. And hit power there to turn it off. Put the handle on. Screw this all the way down. You can come over here and put this wire back into the clip. It is a tight fit, so when you get it in there, it's not going to come out. Power is this blue button right here. Now, not the entire blue button. If you look closely, you can actually see where it's very blue right there. That's where the plunger is, and that's where the plunger is for the auxiliary switch. So you don't want to tap back here or up here. You want to hit it right there at the plunger. Right here for auxiliary. So again, we'll turn it off. Power. Into your crystal chamber. See if I can reach my light. So you got some shine through up here, as well as right here. Auxiliary down here. All your LEDs firing up. We've got twist off. We'll go ahead and throw your blade plug in so we don't forget it. Your blade retention screw is right here. And your blade plug also has some shine. Very cool. All right, and of course when we're done, pop that wire loose. Take our handle off. If you're not careful with the handle, this piece will unscrew from this piece. I tried to crank it down pretty tough because I wanted this to come off as one unit. So just kind of be careful for that, all right? We'll come over here and flip our switch, and then we'll want to take something flat like the back of a pair of tweezers and get it from the positive side. Pop it out like that, all right? That's how your Jedi killer works. Put that tight. We'll put this wire back into the clip. You can cut that a little shorter if you like. I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I'm trying to slowly get this wire to bend naturally so it goes all the way up against this. Something that will happen over time. If you don't like the way that that's looking, you can cut a little bit of length off this guy. All right, so we'll put that over here. Let's go over your Shroud of the Dark Side. So as you know, I designed like another switch for you. I gave you the STL file so that you could print those and have them for your other one. All right, so you can put these red and green ones wherever you like. There's a very particular way how to get the chassis out and how to put it back in. This one, probably one of the most complicated, is not the most complicated, but one of the more complicated setups when trying to put a chassis in the sky. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to take this screw out right here. When you unscrew this, these two pieces should come out as one. They are two separate pieces, so be careful for that. You'll take this piece out. This is your speaker pod. This particular Saber only fits a 28mm pancake speaker, and as you can see, your PCB is off center, and that's on purpose. Okay, so that means we have to put it in a particular way. So we're gonna put that over here. You'll see your chassis here. We're gonna unscrew the emitter. Put that off to the side. Before we take the chassis out, we need to make sure that these switches are facing all the way out. So you see that one's popped out. Every time I go to show it, it goes back in, but you want both of them popped out like that. When they're both popped out like that, you can see it from both sides. We're gonna come over here from the pommel and we're gonna push the chassis out the emitter. Just like that. Now, if you take this and you just put it down like that, you'll be fine. If you flip it over, these switches are gonna fall out on you, just like that. All right, so we'll have to put those back in. This is your chassis, a very small guy, very, very small. Your switch is there, your lit PCB. This takes an 18350 button head. So this is a keep power also. Spring side, negative side of your battery. You can see your green indicator light. We have power there. Your pogo pins, you can see your pogo pins are at an angle, right? So we'll put that chassis off to the side. We're gonna take one of these switches. I had to put these on my lathe and lathe off some of the meat back here so it would slide freely in these housings. I'm gonna take one with my finger. Kind of hard to do standing up with a camera in front of your face. We got one in there, hold it, flip it right here, all right? We're gonna take the other one. If we don't drop it, put it on our finger. When we get it in there, now we're gonna hold it like that. Ideally, when you take the chassis out, you'll wanna keep the Saber on the table like this so the switches don't fall out. All right, so now we're gonna take our chassis with the switch sides down, slide it right in. See it come out the other side here a little bit. Right there, right? So, see this little indentation right here? That's for this fork, or not really a fork, but a prong, right? So, that's why we have a little cutout in the chassis as well. That cutout has to line up perfectly with that indentation when you put it in. All right, so we're gonna do this. Put it in there. We're gonna take our pommel, prong in first. We're gonna hold this like this. Come over here and push this chassis back a little bit as far as it will go. All right, now once we do that, we're free to flip everything around while we're holding it. We're gonna put this piece back in, screw it down. Come over here, take our emitter. We're gonna screw it on. Remember, we pushed that chassis all the way back before we tighten this up. So now we can hit power. Get your blade connector. I'll Auxiliaries right here. And twist off. You want to do your soundtrack. Long press on the power to turn it off, or on rather. Long press on the power to turn it off. And we have to do all that again to take the chassis back out. So we're going to make sure those switches are down. Or first we're going to come over here and take this off here. Do a little faster this time since we already went through it one time. I believe I did one of these for you a while back, so I think you're pretty familiar with the setup. But pommel off, speaker out, switches engaged outward because there's no springs there. Push the chassis from the back forward. Leave the Saber like this with the switches in it. Come over here and take the battery out from the positive side, which is over by your blade connector. And then we can simply slide the chassis back in, right? Line up our speaker. Put on our pommel. Hold that while we push the chassis back all the way. Put this greebly in. Screw it all the way down. Screw our emitter on. It's that easy, right? No, it's not very easy, but that is how you do that guy. And that is your shroud, the dark side. So now we're going to go over your regional managers. We're going to go over one half at a time. As you'll notice, this is the half that does not have the Covertech. All right, the other one has the Covertech. So that's how you know we're going over each one separately. So to get to your chassis here, these are 2-button setups, by the way. So power here, auxiliary right here. I made these light up for you as well. I made this back here light up for you as well. And you got a KR Sabers lit PCB. All right, so to get to these chassis, it's a little bit different from the V1, which was a 1-button setup. You're gonna wanna take this off. You're gonna wanna come over here and take this guy off right next to the LED bezel. Then you wanna take this and slide it off. Then you can slide your chassis out. You want to be careful though. You kind of want to have these switches pointing down. Slide your chassis out. And this is your chassis. It's going to be the same chassis for either side, so it doesn't matter which side you put either one of these chassis in. All right, your 2 switches here, your blade connector. We've got an 18650 battery slot, 22mm smoker's outpost, nano elite speaker, kill switch right here. So we'll flip that.
You are of no further use.
As you can see, you've got 2 different accents here, and you've got an accent right here with easy access to your SD card and your micro USB. So to put the chassis inside of the Saber, these switches are not on springs. So as you can see, I just depressed those. They stayed down, which means the little plunger systems or the little nuts in there for plungers are down too. So we're going to want to do that so that they disengage and gravity holds them down. All right. That means that this switch channel needs to face down also, basically meaning the battery needs to face up. If you don't get that channel aligned with the switches, it's only going to go about this far. You can gently turn it until you feel it engage with that channel, and then you can push it all the way. Once we do that, we're going to come over here and we can see, okay, this one's lit up. We've got this guy over here. As you can see, there's little cutouts in this for these little prongs, right? It goes on here a certain way, but you just face it up where these LED bezels are at. You see you got your LED bezel here, so you know it goes right here. All right, so we're gonna slide that on. Now that one's all lit up. We're gonna take this little guy that we took off earlier. We're gonna put it back on. We're gonna take our other red greebly and put it back on. These 2 guys hold this back piece on. Now your crystal lights up. These 2 light up. You can hit power, blade connector, auxiliary back here. Twist off if you want, right?
Where is he?
And And that is how you work that guy. So we're going to do all that in reverse to take the chassis out. So this guy right here. I would say the most important thing to remember on this set of Sabers is the fact that your plunger switches are not on springs. So when taking the chassis out or putting it in, you really want those two switches to be facing down so gravity can hold them down and out of the way for when you pull your chassis out. All right, you can see your LEDs going. We'll flip the kill switch. Now everything's off and we can take our battery out. Pop it out just like that. We're going to put it in just the exact way that we took it out. LED bezels here, here, and here. Helps if you have the right Allen wrench for that. All right, so that's that one. We're going to put this off to the side. We'll do the other one a little bit faster because it's the exact same deal. The only difference is it has a Covertech on it, which I did put a few washers on, and I cut that down a little bit so it'd get out of the ID of the handle rather, so it wasn't interfering with the chassis. So again, switches down, chassis out. Same chassis, right? Same battery setup. Kill switch.
You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
Switches down, battery up. Find that channel. So remember, if you're not lined up, it only goes in that far. Turn it till you feel it. Push it all the way in, over here. Bezels, just like that. We're going to take this guy and screw it in. All right, make sure that's straight though. Tighten that up. We'll tighten this up. And your two LEDs are going, your crystal's going. We can hit power. Blade connector, auxiliary, if you feel like you're pressing that and it's not doing anything, give it a little turn either way. All right, the height adjustment on that nut has to be exactly appropriate for the depth of the tactile switch. All right, so again, take this out, take this off, slide this off, switches down, chassis out, kill switch, battery out, switches down, find that groove, push your chassis in, LEDs. We've got that speaker exactly where we have it on the chassis because, as you can see, those are where your sound venting holes are at. All right, so it was go with a 20 millimeter speaker and utilize the holes, or go with a 22 millimeter speaker and utilize half of the holes. In my personal experience, I think it sounds better using a 22 millimeter, so I chose to go that route. All right, and then we'll just tighten this back up as well. But that, sir, is how you use your set of regional managers. You know, actually, before we go over all that, we forgot to go over your Anti-Flex. This is the last one. So as you know, I told you that we set this up as a one button setup because when the switches, these are the aftermarket painted switches when they were put in. When this guy was put in before it got to me, this piece was thread locked. There was absolutely no way to get that off. I set this up as a one button setup, much like your MPP, or exactly like your MPP, honestly. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll unscrew the handle here. You don't want to just unscrew the handle, you want to unscrew the handle with the midsection. Apologies. This was one of the first ones I did, so it's not fresh in my mind, but you want to take that off as one piece. All right, when you do that, that exposes, of course, your static chassis. So your Proffie board, access to everything, kill switch, 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker, battery compartment. This is an 18650.
Never underestimate a droid. Yes, Master.
Put this in here. Screw this all the way down until it stops. We can hit power. You got your blade connector in there right now. Let's go ahead and take that out of there so you can see what's going on. Or your blade plug rather. That is not your... To get to your blade retention screw, you're gonna have to take this off because your blade retention screw is right here in the front. All right, so you loosen that up, take this out, a very interesting blade plug. You'll take that out, take your button, screw it back on, and that's when you put your blade in. All right, we'll hit power. Blaster bolts, blade lock up. You do have twist off. To go to the next sound font, when you had multiple, it would be a long press. To play your soundtracks, a double tap. To turn it off, it's another double tap. Blade lock up. And a long press to go to the next soundtrack. Okay? And then when we're done, we'll take this off. Turn on here. Flip the kill switch. Take our battery out. You may need something flat like the back of a pair of tweezers. You may be able to get it with your fingers if you have any fingernails. And we'll screw this back on. Like that. We'll take the switch out. Off rather. Put this in. This goes in a certain way. You can see it's got these bump outs here. These 3 bump outs. So look for the bump outs in the actual emitter. It's got 4 bump outs, sorry, not 3. So it needs to go in a certain way. Just turn it until it locks in place. Hold it, come over here and lock it down right there. Okay, I used a brass tactile switch. I tried to use the switch PCB that came with the kit. It didn't work properly, so I just used a brass tactile. All right, so with all my tools over here, that, sir, is how you work your Anti-Flex, your MPP, your Jedi Killer, both sides of your Regional Manager, and your SP Saber Shroud of the Dark Side. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll get these out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks, man.